I remember the first time it happened. I was a kid, and I was at a church, and I was standing on the top of this slide, looking down. It was metal and shiny and hot, and at the top of it, I noticed this feeling begin. My chest started to hurt. I started to sweat. My heart pounded in my chest. I felt this clenching around my throat and this building and building of pressure. And I thought I was dying. I thought something terrible must be happening for me to be feeling this way in this moment. And I stared down the metal slide, slightly getting reflections of the sun in my eyes. And I didn't know what to do. I wanted to turn around. I wanted to go back down the stairs. I wanted to run away. And yet there were people behind me. What do you do in that moment? I went down the slide and collapsed into tears and shaking. I assumed that this was the end, that I was going to just cease to exist because he couldn't continue this way. And then it ended. This terrifying experience ended. I tried to communicate to the people around me what had just happened to me. And yet, nobody seemed to take it seriously. Nobody seemed as worried about my heart as I was, because I knew there was something wrong. I knew your heart wasn't supposed to feel like that. I knew that I shouldn't feel that pressure. And this was the beginning of something that nobody named for me for another 20 years. A few weeks ago, I started playing a game called Hades. Despite my love for video games, I've never been much of a gamer. Now, anybody who's watching this that actually does games is like, oh yeah, Hades is a great game. And the reality is, I knew it was a good game. And I was interested and I wanted to play, and yet when I would watch screenshots, it'd be like, there's so much on screen. There's so much on screen. How would I ever learn how to play this game? How would I ever be able to visually process all this information? I'm not a video gamer. This is supposed to be very hard. I'm just gonna keep dying. I'm never gonna be able to do this. And I decided, in a fit of frustration, to just try. I have a panic disorder. And I don't know if the slide was the first time that I had a panic attack, but I remember it so vividly as being something that I didn't want to occurring in front of other people. The feeling of humiliation, the feeling of being out of control, the intense terror of not knowing what was happening to me. And yet it was happening. And I had to do something, anything to stop it. Eventually I convinced my mother to take me to the doctor, and I kept bringing it up. I was like, my chest hurts, my chest hurts, my chest hurts, there's something wrong, my chest hurts. And they did tests, and they found nothing. And so everyone just said, oh, it must be in your head. This was one of the most damaging pieces of information that I've ever gotten in my life. I became terrified of this feeling, not only because it was terrifying, but because of the reaction I got from the adults around me. If I could only control myself, if I could only pretend it wasn't happening, because if it's all in my head, if it's all made up, then I should be able to control this. I should be able to just do the things that everyone else seems to be able to do with such ease. Or maybe I'm an idiot. A few months ago, I had a panic attack at the airport. Airports and places that are busy and require a lot of different abilities and knowledge and scripts tend to put me on the edge of a panic attack. And this time, I went tumbling over unexpectedly. As I'm trying to force myself to calm, because I'm in this huge airport surrounded by people, and I'm struggling to stop feeling like I'm dying, to deal with my own terror in a private moment. But I can't. I can't calm down. I can't stop the imminent tears. My heart is racing. My chest is hurting. Moving makes me dizzy and nauseated. And I'm just wondering, knowing I won't die from this sensation, if this is the time that it happens. I YouTube something I've never done before. How to calm a panic attack. And I stumble onto a woman's work. She makes this video and she says a few things that have profoundly impacted my life.
If you have chronic panic attacks, the articles all say, try to take some deep breaths, calm yourself down, distract yourself. Look, if you've tried this and it worked, you wouldn't be here. So with a panic attack, and especially with panic disorder, this is the exact wrong advice. Real problem is not the anxiety you're having or the sensations that you're having, that fast heartbeat, that rapid breathing, or the tingly or faint sensation. The real problem is the belief that these sensations are dangerous. If you get repeated panic attacks, then it's likely that trying to make your panic attacks go away is actually causing recurring panic attacks. Because you see, panic attacks are anxiety about anxiety. They are fear of fear.
And I think to myself, I'm not that afraid. I'm not afraid. Only to realize in the coming days that I am afraid. I'm afraid all the time.
To free ourselves from panic, we need to be willing to have it, Nick Wignall says.
Point of Hades is that you die. A lot. And that's interwoven into the story of the game. That you're gonna die, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna die. And that's okay. Because the thing you're trying to do feels impossible. You're trying to escape hell. The player character, Zagreus, is attempting what no one has ever done before. You're not even sure it's possible. And yet he's motivated by very pure intentions. And everyone and everything is standing in his way, and yet he has to overcome these insurmountable odds. And I loved that story enough that I wanted to try it.
Nobody gets out of my domain, whether alive or dead.
And I found myself frustrated really quickly because I am bad at combat.
You wish to learn the hard way? Fine.
Particularly when it's group focused. I get flustered. And I panic, and I get nervous, and I get distracted by the feelings in my body getting ready for a conflict. And my fear that arises, and then I die, and then I die again.
Death is your only family.
And then I feel bad because I keep dying because I can't control myself. Great, if you could just control yourself, then you could get farther in this game. You could be better at it. You could do it. You just need to focus more. I remember that video. Fear of fear. What if I let myself feel bad? What if I let it happen? What if I embraced it?
I'll have to go with the painful way.
What if I let it be okay that I was nervous and bad at this game, that I was probably gonna die again, that it didn't feel like I was gonna be successful, that I wasn't sure if I could tolerate this thing yet? What if I made it smaller? What if I tried to make it worse? What if I worked with the weapons that I'm worst at?
Yes, carry on, everyone. Don't mind me.
What if, instead of fighting my body, fighting myself, I let it be okay? That I was frightened, that I was overwhelmed, that I wasn't sure what was going to happen, that I was sure I was going to lose again. What if that was okay?
All right, one more time.
What if it was? Originally, I just wanted to win, and I thought that Hades could potentially, any video game really, could potentially give me that. And what it's become is something so much bigger than that for me. I'm learning how to manage my panic disorder through this video game, through trying again, through, oh, it got to me this time, and that's okay, we can try again. Through recognizing that there's nothing to be afraid of in my body, because although alarms are screaming in me that something is wrong, that I'm in danger, I'm actually just playing a game. I'm actually safe. And because I'm actually safe, it means that I can change how I'm engaging with this at all. I'm safe. I can allow myself to feel those feelings in a safe environment. Continue to do my best, and if it works out or it doesn't work out, it's not really the point. But afterwards, after every room, I come back down and I remember and I learn that my body and my sensations are not something to be afraid of. Every run, I learn that it's okay to try and fail. It's okay to not know what you're doing. It's okay to feel embarrassed. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. That elevated heart rate, that all of those symptoms are just your body trying to get ready for the challenge that is right ahead of you. It's not something to be demonized. It's not all in your head. And I'm learning that I can succeed even while feeling that way. As much as I'm learning that if it does get away from me, it's okay. That these sensations can be neutral as much as they can be good and as much as they can be bad. And it all depends on how I look at it, what I think about it, what I choose to do to manage it. It's not just about being calmer, but it's about respecting and owning what sensations that I do have, what feelings I am having, my situation. And the reality is, I am bad at Hades. I'm very bad at it. I haven't made it all the way out of hell yet. I can't beat Hades. And yet, I keep coming back to it for the sense of accomplishment, for the understanding that I'm practicing the skills I need to be able to live a more fulfilling life. Because Hades as a game is teaching me how to overcome my panic disorder.